So week 9, we are already going to discuss about your what is a sexual self. Okay, so as I've said last meeting, we discussed the physical self. So today we will discuss the sexual self, understanding your sexual self. All right, so let's define first what is sex versus gender versus sexuality. So most of the time there is confusion, right, between the meaning, between the definition of sex, gender, and sexuality. Anyone, what do you think is how do you define sex? So sex is defined as the biological distinction set by society by assigning humans as male or female in terms of genitals, chromosomes, or physical or hormonal attributes. So, since we were born, once the hospital staff, the doctor, or the people around your mother saw your genital, you will be referred as a female if you have a vagina. Now, if you have the penis, you will be referred as a male. So, so it's either of the two only. There are only two major forms of individuals. Okay? Yun ang sabi. Now, there are so many misconceptions about sex. So first, sex is given before the baby is born. So you see, as I have said, once you were born, if you have these genitals, you are already referred as a female or a male. Wherein, it is a misconception because you would never know what is really the sex. I mean, don't don't just we cannot just simply base the sex of a person on his or her genitals. Especially right now, you understand this. Sex is determined by anatomy, so it's the same. It would be unnatural to veer away from predetermined anatomy and reproductive functions. So it would be unnatural, not natural, to change it. So if you will, if you decided to change your genitals, it would be not so natural anymore because maybe you were able to change your genitals, but what is inside your reproductive system was not changed. And it already defied the purpose of reproduction. Okay, let's continue. So that is sex. Remember the meaning, okay? Now let's go to gender. Gender refers to the characteristics of women, men, girls, and boys that are socially constructed. This includes the norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationships with each other. As a social construct, gender varies from society to society and can change over time. So first, it depends on the kind of society where you grow up. So example, like us, we are Filipinos. Ano ba ang characteristics of women? What are the expected social behaviors of men? Ano rin yung minold na roles for women and men, for girls and boys? And based on that, based on those expectations, that would define your gender. So in our culture, men are expected to do um to do jobs like driving, like construction. They are expected to behave this way. For example, they are expected to behave masculinely, right? And then for women, you are expected to behave femininely, like you're not supposed to do. For example, for women, until now, there's still some people in our culture. Until now, it's not yet accepted that women are smoking, because we have this stereotyping that it's just for men, right? Pero meron pa rin naman, of course. What else? Women are expected to be housewife, or uh, if not housewife, they will only be the one to uh, rear the child. Here now there is also gender queer. So people that are queer or gender fluid because they do not identify with a particular gender or sexual assignment. So meaning to say, that's why it's called queer fluid. Fluid. It flows. It goes around. So they are okay with opposite sex. They're okay with the same sex. They're okay with the other types of genders. So they're okay. They are attracted with different types of gender. So if I am not mistaken, if there are 72 types of gender right now, that's why we call it LGBTQ plus. So it's a plus because it's too many to mention. So with all those types of gender, they are attracted with it. Gender queer. Okay. May question pa kayo sa gender? Now, let's define sexuality. So, sexuality refers to experiences, attraction, practices, and identity that describe sexual attraction. So, sexuality can be heterosexual, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and queer also in others. So, let's differentiate. So, again, when you say sex, it's the biological traits that society associates with being male or female. Gender, cultural meanings attached to being masculine, feminine, which influence personal identities. Sexuality, sexual attraction, practices and identity which may or may not align with your sex and with your gender. Okay, so let me give you an example. Uh, I will tell you my sex, gender, and sexuality. So if you want to share, it's good. Okay, so me first. My sex is female. I am straight female. Biologically, I am a female. Gender, I am feminine. Okay, I am feminine. Sexuality, I am sexually attracted to men only. So that I'm straight. What about you? Anyone who would like to share his or her sex, gender, and sexuality? Kasi may mga ano ba tawag dun, may mga implications yun, eh. Halimbawa, you're 18 years old but your penis is as small as a grade 1 student. So, hindi siya okay, 'di ba? Kaya kailangan siya mag-undergo ng surgery. For female example, a clitoris that's larger than expected. Or possible no vaginal opening. Yan. For males, yung penis niya walang urethra, walang lalabasan ng urine. Okay, so that's intersex. So, of course, it's with consent. And since physically nahihirapan na rin yung may katawan na kung ano man yung may yung diferensya. So, you can undergo surgery. Now, if you are a male and you don't like your penis size and you want it to be removed or you want to have a sex reassignment, edi it's good. Diba? It's good. Pero ganun lang. Yung reproductive mo sa loob, hindi mababago. I know someone who's, I don't know if you heard that, hermaphrodite. Meron siyang both genitals. Meron siyang pambabae at saka panlalaki. So when we were young, ang sex naman talaga niya is male. Physically male siya talaga. And sa puso, male din siya. So, I think, pilit tinatahi o sinasaran yung vaginal opening. Para ang mag-function sa kanya is yung for male. yung penis. I don't know if he's okay now. So I think ang tawag dun is hermaphrodite. Naoperahan naman siya. Hindi ko lang alam kung naging successful yun doon sa kakilala ko. Kasi I know many attempts yun ng operation, ng surgery. Kasi kahit anong gawing tahi dun sa vagina, parang nag-open pa rin siya. Okay. So, let's talk about human relations. Wala na kayong tanong sa sex, gender, and sexuality? Let's proceed to human relations. Ang tahimik nyo naman. Action ko lang yung recording natin. Okay. So, first, human relation is sensuality. So, the enjoyment, expression, or pursuits of physical, especially sexual pleasure. Okay, so sensuality is the condition of being pleasing or fulfilling to the senses. Example of being sensual. So you and your partner can watch a sunset together, taking a warm bath together, having a quiet dinner in a special place, surrounding the bed with sweet candles or with your favorite perfume, and listening to your favorite music. So these are just some examples to set your mood. Diba? Come to your senses and then be sensual to your partner. Next is intimacy. So close ties, a feeling of familiarity to a person, which may evoke the following feelings. You care already, you share. Of course, it's risk-taking. Pwedeng that kind of relationship would be a roller coaster. Vulnerability and self-disclosure. You're sharing already the things that you like together, that you're sharing. You're sharing yourself. Everything about you. Your plans, your stories, your memories, your experiences. Next is sexual identity. So it refers to the individual's gender roles, orientation, self-esteem, and confidence level. Relationships with your family, friends, and perception of yourself as male or female. Next, human reproduction. So you know this already, sexual reproduction through sexual intercourse of a male and female individual. So right now, since advanced na ating science nga, there is human reproduction na possible through vitro fertilization or having a surrogate mother. Example is, di ba, si Joel Cruz, the owner of, what do you call that product, that perfume? Is it Prescripto ba yun? I'm not so sure. Ano yung cologne niya? Perfume label niya. So all his twins, all his children are through vitro fertilization, through a surrogate mother. Yeah, correct. Through vitro fertilization. So this is an artificial way of si Vicky Belloran nga and Hayden ko, that's correct. May surrogate mother din. Because Vicky cannot bear a child anymore. But I have some, I don't know. Okay. So in human reproduction, so you know this, and in order to control human reproduction, the couples use birth control or contraceptives. Okay, so of course, you should use this responsibly and as much as possible sa mga couples lang po, or married couples. Next human relation is sexualization versus objectification. Objectification is viewing a person as a sexual object for own pleasure, disregarding the person's feelings or emotions. So, most of the time, women are seen as a sex object only. Diba? So, you know that sexual workers are being seen like that. They're just sexual object. I don't know if there's kind of if there is a kind of relationship na yung isa lang yung ano, may feelings or emotion. Both are associated with women. Yes. Sexualization of viewing a person who is not naturally sexual but being it as such. Okay, so you are familiar with this. Female reproductive system. Okay, so female, you have two ovaries and they are working vice versa. So this one is your ovaries will release an ova every 28 days. It travels here in your fallopian tube. So this one will release an ova this month. And then the next month, this is the other ovary that would release an ova, alternate. Sila. And that ova, if it meets a sperm, that would, and it will be fertilized by a sperm. So yun, makakabuo ng baby. Alam niyo na yan. So daan na lang natin to pang, I think grade 5 ata, na-discuss na sa inyo to. So male reproductive system, okay. You're familiar with this? So dito dumadaan syempre yung sa kanilang urethra ang kanilang urine. Okay, the sperm travels from here. See? Ayan. So yung sperm nila hindi tulad natin na every 28 days. So I think, I'm not sure sa boys, I think they can produce sperm. Maybe yes, maybe many times. Many times. But even if there are millions of sperms, you know it already, there will only be one winner, diba? One winner only. Only one sperm cell can fertilize the egg. So you know that eventually as they travel, namamatay yung sperm cells. Right? Alam niyo na to. Soup number 5. Narinig niyo yun? Do you know some examples of aphrodisiac food? Mm-hmm. Chocolate and oyster. Oh, really? Black chocolate? Oh, hindi ko nga alam yan eh. Oh, oyster. I think nga naririnig ko yan. And even I think fruits like avocado and wait lang. I'm not sure if papaya or watermelon. Mga aphrodisiac din ata daw yun. I'm not so sure. Okay, turtle in other countries. Okay. So aphrodisiac. Tapos yun nga, sabi ko, ah uso na rin naman ngayon yung mga food supplement, 'di ba? Or mga juice para ma-arouse yung yung individual. All right. So, love and attraction definition, it's plainly put, attraction is short-lived while love is strong or intense. Correct. Kasi attraction can only last for wag na natin masyadong i-elaborate to kasi alam niyo na rin naman ito, 'di ba? This one is old already. Mhm. You know this, familiar na kayo dito. Anyone na hindi ba kayo familiar? Ako hindi ako familiar do'n sa chlamydia na nakikita ko and trichomonas. Mhm. Pero yung mga hepatitis, gonorrhea, herpes, syphilis, pain with urination, pain with sex. So if you are experiencing this, you have discharge from your genital, magpa-check up na kayo kasi possibly you have sexually transmitted disease. Okay? So, huwag na natin discuss 'to. Kaya niyo na 'yan. Okay, now let's have a conclusion. Men and women are sexual beings endowed with the need to love and be loved. Our emotion and sexuality. Okay, I've said. Uh, First, you really have to make sure of yourself, 'di ba? Before you go out, before you tell the world what is really your sexuality, Make sure of yourself. Make sure of your identity first. Identify very well your identity. And once you're decided about your identity, um, of course, if you still have parents, tell your parents first. Whether they will accept you, whether your family will accept you or not, tell them the truth. Always remember this. Tell the truth. Ang sabi nga, di ba? The truth will set you free. So tell them the truth. Face the consequences. Di ba? Kung i-judge ka na ng mismo family mo o hindi ka i-accept, at least, mas pasarap yung pakiramdam mo. You tell the truth. And you know, eventually, of course, for some, for most families, for most Filipino families, at first, they would be shocked or they would not accept it. And I think that's just a normal reaction. Kasi nga may expectation sila sa iyo eh. 'Di ba? Na-expect nila na mag-aasawa ka o na-expect nila manganganak ka, na-expect nilang 'di ba? Ganon. Pero at the end of the day, they're still your family and you just wait. 'Di ba? Time would heal and eventually they would accept it. So ako yun lang eh. You have nothing to worry. Sa una lang talaga. Hindi naman lahat madali. But that truth will set you free. Bakit nasasaktan ng kusino man, pamilya man o kusino man? Kasi nga because of the expectation eh. 'Di ba? Kasi next, you can apply this to any situation. When you least expect, hindi ka mafo-frustrate. So, apply nyo to Apply nyo to sa lahat ng situation. Alright, ako may tanong. So, how does the society shape the sexual behavior of an individual?